Good evening. It is now 7 p.m. I am C. Ron Allen.
And I am Daryl Curry, and a warm welcome to each of you once again to this final edition of Community Conversation for the year 2020. We hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas and got everything you asked for.
You know, Daryl, I hope and pray that every child within the sound of my voice woke up this morning in just good health and had a day filled with just lots of cheer, lots of joy, and happiness. After all, you know, that's what Christmas is all about. Here at Community Conversation, we take full advantage of this thing that we call technology to bring our future leaders together with members of the community, community leaders, and their peers from across the world. While we are on top of this topic of Christmas, we're so happy this season because we've been able to produce 43 shows with more than 200 guests to date. And that's since February 14th when we started.
Mm-hmm.
That is, young people, we have exposed you to these experts, professionals, as you'll see tonight and hear tonight again. And we've taken you places virtually during this pandemic, while unfortunately many organizations and programs that serve youth were not able to do so. So we have a lot for which to be thankful, and we're happy that you chose to spend your Friday nights with us on Community Conversation.
As you will see tonight, this 1 hour mentoring forum deepens connections and it provides discussions on a range of topics, including social emotional issues, race and inequality, improving relations with law enforcement, post-secondary education, careers, health and wellness, and politics. Like Mr. Ciron, let me also say thanks to all the adults, parents, grandparents, educators, and responsible community servants who every Friday night hang out with us to share ideas and instill value in us young people. We hear from you in the streets, we get your texts and emails, and we value your feedback. You are indeed making a contribution to your community, and for that we say thank you for all that you have done over the past 10 months.
You know, the 2021 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. observance will be the weekend of January 15th through 18th. So go ahead and mark your calendar, as there will be a lot of events and programs going on to observe this significant holiday. In fact, make sure you lock us in on Friday night for Community Conversation. That's from 7 to 8. Sunday from 3 to 4 will be the all faith service. And on Monday will be the brunch. And all of these events, folks, will be virtual. So stay tuned to our Facebook pages for more information.
Young people, are you looking for an opportunity where you can hone your leadership skills in a fun work environment? If you are 16 years or older and are serious about learning some general office, HR, IT, accounting, and marketing skills, Amazon Hub Delray Beach wants to hear from you. Community service hours are available. For more information, call 561-450-8700. Sorry about that. That's 561-450-8700.
Okay, seemed like someone had a little bit too much to eat today for Christmas. Is that the case, Daryl?
Definitely, sir. 100% I'm having the mental slumps right now. Food was good though. Can't complain.
All of the above, huh? Well,
Hmm.
speaking of all of the above, talk about a labor of love. Folks, for the past, I think at least a decade, this sister has been highlighting the accomplishments of Black men in Palm Beach County through a calendar. And those of us in this community know that it's not often that Black men get recognized for their accomplishments or achievements in at least in our community. And I am just so honored to have Miss Shanitra Moore of She Holdings with us this tonight to tell us about her gig. Shanitra, how are you, sister?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Another great day in South Florida. I can't believe
Absolutely.
folks in New York are freezing their buns off. Folks in Mexico, all over the place. They're just talking about, they would love to be in South Florida right now. And speaking of being in South Florida right now, I'm sure you're still on the production floor before getting your magazine out to the press. So just want to thank you for taking time, to share some insight on us on your ministry, which this is a labor of love. This certainly is a ministry. You will tell me the story of the calendar. How and
Well, see, Ron, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you personally, how the calendar started, but it actually started, I was at Bible study in Fort Lauderdale. I was attending the Faith Center with Bishop Henry Fernandez in Fort Lauderdale on a
Mhm.
Wednesday night Bible study. Are you guys familiar with Bishop Fernandez?
Very, very, very familiar with him.
Okay. And
The old Sunrise Musical Theater. That's where
yeah,
he is
yeah.
now.
So I was sitting in the middle of a Wednesday night Bible study, and I'm telling you, it was just like this. You know how when you're at the movies and you see the credits at the end of the movie and they go across the screen? And so in the
Yeah.
middle of Bible study, God said, and then there were 12. And I said, what does that mean?
Uh-huh.
And he said, I want you to do a publication highlighting positive Black male leadership. He says, I want you to model them after the disciples as Jesus did. He said they were from all walks of life. They were not all CEOs, they were not all entrepreneurs. He said, I want fathers, people that are good fathers, good husbands, coaches, teachers, and I want you to ministers, community activists. Jesus had tax collectors, he had fishermen, he had entrepreneurs. So this publication brings a diverse group of men together. They establish relationships that they never would have formed because they never would have been in those circles of influence. And that's how the calendar originated. And that's where Project 12 comes from. He also said 12 represents a number of government and structure. 12 is, we have 12 months in a year. There's 12 hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that number 12 represents all of these things. It's a powerful number. So if you look up the number 12, it'll tell you
Yes,
that
it is.
everything about us is governed by the number 12.
Wow.
So that's
You people, are they elected officials? Are they just general people? Do you target a specific group of guys
no,
in the Black community?
they're all across the board. Some are politicians, some are attorneys, some are physicians, some are good husbands. See, Ron, I actually had a young man he
And
kind
how
of
do you
got a,
find these people?
well, we have a council. I don't sit back in my launch chair and pick out these guys. I have a group of women that I trust and respect in the community, and they nominate different men in the community, and we vote.
Hmm.
And so once we vote, whoever gets the most votes ends up in the calendar. We always end up with at least 30 nominees every year. It's always a hard choice, but it's only 12 months in a year. And I tell everyone, you know, if you don't get in it this year, when it's your turn, it will be the right time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
And what year is this for the calendar?
this is the 7th year.
Seventh.
This is our 7th edition, but we expanded to Broward County. So
Okay.
this is our 2nd year in Broward County and our 7th year in Palm Beach County. We've honored over 100 men.
Wow. Now I know you were you got the calling to honor men. Do you foresee someday doing the same for our sisters? Because I'm sure they're like, hey, what about us? Are we doing great things in the community too?
And we are, you know, we are doing great things. But I have to stick
See,
with
already they're texting.
well, see, Ron, one thing you'll learn about me is I know how to stay in my lane. And so I have to take instructions. And this is how I am. I base my life on biblical principles. He
Mhm.
told me to do it a certain way. He's obligated to make it come to pass. So it's just like children. You know, you have children and you tell them to do things a certain way. And when they do it the way you said, even if they fall short, you're more likely to assist them. But it's when you go out and do things your own way and then you come back and try to have your parents fix it up. I just stick with the plan, and God has never failed me yet. And we want to make sure that we mention that Mr. C. Ron Allen is one of our recipients for this upcoming calendar edition. Let's give him a round of applause. And
Well. Thank you so much for that. But you're not recognizing me. You're recognizing the organization that is right.
well, I got to tell this story because it's unique. So in the calendar, the guys, we do individual photo shoots. So Mr. Allen calls me and says, Shanitra, you know, it's really about my children. I want to have a picture with my children. I'm like, Mr. Allen, that's really not how the calendar is set up. And he was so adamant. He was so adamant about what he does and who he is at the core, being in that picture. Although there's an ad on the other side of the picture, he wanted his large individual picture to have kids. And I'm telling you, it gave me a warm and fuzzy feeling when I saw that picture, C. Ron. And I just think that it's phenomenal that it truly is all about your children for you. So kudos, well deserved on this award that you're receiving. We're so excited that you are serious about imparting to our next generation.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. If you will, give us a sneak peek. By the way, when are you launching the magazine? This calendar, excuse me. When are you launching the calendar? And just give us a sneak peek. What can we expect to see in this calendar?
Well, you expect to see these 10 awesome men, a little bit of bio about them and what they're doing in their communities.
10, 12, 10 or 12.
I'm sorry, 12.
10 or 12.
12.
Okay.
No, 12.
This is in there too.
Yes, 12 men with their bios and learn about men. We got superheroes right here in our backyard. And that's one of the things about it, C. Ron. You know, our
Absolutely.
young kids, they may never meet a LeBron James, but they'll meet a C. Ron Allen
Mhm.
who's impacting their lives just like a LeBron James. They may meet their local doctor who's the only Black anesthesiologist here in Palm Beach County. They may meet a local
Mhm.
attorney who's the first Black in 100 years to be partner at this particular firm. So what we're doing is we're putting tangible heroes in front of our next generation. The media has depicted the Black male in a negative light, and that's really my why. And you know, a lot of people say, well, why did you do it this year, Shanitra? It's a pandemic. I easily could have missed this year and picked it up next year, right? And people would have forgiven me for it. But I couldn't do that. Out of all the years I've done this publication, I'm saddened to say that I needed this year more than any other year. All of the images that they've depicted with trying and attempting to devalue the life of a Black male, I could not do it this year. So this calendar is to reaffirm our next generation of male, especially. Your life means something. You're valuable. And regardless of how you may have grew up or what you may not have seen, look at this guy here. If he can do it, you can do it. And he's someone tangible. We've honored guys right here who won the gold at the Olympics in Rio. We have a lot of superheroes right here in our backyard. We don't have to look to Hollywood or to the NBA. We got our own living legends right here.
And what's the launch date? Where is it going to be? And how do we get tickets to this launch?
So the launch date is January the 2nd at John Prince Park. And we're doing a drive-in, old school. You're going to drive in your vehicles. You're going to tune into the event on the radio station that we give you. There's going to be 2 high-def 16 by 20 flat screens. We're going to have a stage. We're going to be practicing social distance by celebrating our men who so rightfully deserve it at the same time. So you can visit my website at www.sheholdings.com and get your tickets. It's going to be phenomenal. We're going to have music. We're going to have a little bit of entertainment. We're going to do some door prizes. And this year, C-Ron, what we're doing is we're combining the receptions for Palm Beach and Broward. So we're bringing up the recipients from Broward.
Okay.
We got the mayor from Broward, Mayor Dale Holness, who's going to be, he's one of our recipients. He's also going to be speaking. We got our sponsor, our top sponsor, the city of Riviera Beach. City manager Jonathan will be speaking. We got some, and also Mayor Ronnie Felder is one of our recipients. We got some phenomenal guys we're honoring. We're going to all be under one roof, as I say. This will probably be the only year, only because of the pandemic. Last year, you know, we did it at the Kravitz Center, and we had Broward at the Urban League of Broward County. But this year, we're coming together because it's a drive-in. And at John Prince Park, we have the space to stay in our vehicle and also see the screens. It's a phenomenal layout. It's going to be a
phenomenal layout. You're doing a phenomenal job. Congratulations on a job well done. As a military person, you know what they say. Kudos on a job well done, my sister.
Thank you so much. And again, sheholdingsllc.com. Visit the site for your tickets. January 2nd at 3 p.m.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Have a great day. All right. We welcome our friends who are joining us either on KOP Mentor Network or Boca Raton Tribune's Facebook page. And as usual, we're now on Instagram at KOPM Network. Here at KOP, we believe that leadership training prepares youth to manage their time, work in team setting, set goals, conversations, facilitate meetings, and make effective presentations, all of which are positive life skills that they will carry into adulthood. Please direct your attention to our friend, Mr. John Maxwell, for our Leadership Minute.
Hi, John Maxwell here. I'm glad you're joining me today on Minute with Maxwell. The phrase I want to talk to you about today is lifting others up. If you want to be indispensable in the life of others, if you want to have a relationship where people love to see you walk into the room, sit down at the restaurant and at the table where they are, if you really want to be that kind of person where everybody looks and says, oh, they're here, it's because you're lifting up other people. You're an encouragement to others. People want to be around people that make them feel good, that encourage them, that lift them up. You see, there are basically two kinds of people in the world. There are the pluses and the minors. There are the lifters and the leaners. There are the people who lift you up and encourage you, and then there are others that just kind of lean on you. And the longer they lean, the heavier it gets. So I tell people all the time, relationships are really quite simple. Just decide to intentionally be a plus in people's lives, not a minus. A minus is always asking for something, looking for others to lift them up and make their day. You initiate the lifting up today. You become the first to smile. You become the first to say an encouraging word. Trust me, when you lift up others, guess what happens to you? You begin to be lifted up yourself. I'm so glad today you joined with me on Minute with Maxwell.
Okay. Well, the novel coronavirus pandemic has left an indelible mark on Americans of all ages and from all walks of life. Those we've lost come from all backgrounds and include the very people, the first responders, medical staff, the ones who've been working so diligently and selflessly to stem the tide of the infection as well as care for those who are sick. But the virus has also highlighted the disparities in the United States, taking a disproportionate toll on communities of color, the elderly, and the poor, and calling attention to a new class of essential workers who don't have the protection or protections of traditional first responders. They're luminaries in the arts, Holocaust survivors, war veterans, educators, law enforcement officers, doctors. They're all among the dead. Variously described as heroes, caring parents, and loving family members, they will never be forgotten. Here's a look at some of the more than 294,000 who have died. Officer Rick Ross, retired Boynton Beach police officer, who joined the force in 1981 and served for 20 years. His passion for service continued in retirement, and he went to work at South Tech Academy in Boynton Beach. Mr. Ross assembled a jammed resume during his lifetime. He was a cop, he was a karate instructor, a marine shop operator, a boat racer, motorcycle enthusiast, a school administrator, father of 4, and a grandfather of 1. Then we have Miss Nadine Hart, who was a retired educator in the Palm Beach County school system, a community servant for most of her 92 years. In fact, she was the founding president of the TED Center, the Center for Technology, Enterprise, and Development in Delray Beach. She's also a longtime member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, as well as the Francis J. Bright Women's Club. And we have Mr. Alfred Zach Strong, a longtime funeral home operator, softball coach, Sunday school teacher, and fighter who was instrumental in Delray Beach hiring Black police officers. He also led the integration of the city's beach. He died on December 3rd at the age of 92. Finally, we have my dear fraternity brother and his wife, Mr. Art and Annie Matthews of Boynton Beach. Both were longtime educators in the Palm Beach School District. Mr. Matthews also operated Rainbow City Grocery for many years in Boynton Beach, and he served as president of the Boynton Beach Community Development Council. Mrs. Matthews retired as a principal of Poinciana Elementary School. Friends, they're gone, but certainly they will not be forgotten. A special
Going off of that solemn note and a bit of an embarrassing moment for me to have myself muted. Apologize for that. Funny how you can find humor in the saddest of times, folks. Just know on this side, tech issues, not foreign to me. Special welcome to our friends overseas in the Bahamas, Belize, Jamaica, Tobago, and the US Virgin Islands. Please remember to share community conversation on your social media pages. If you missed a show, you can find it on Boca Raton Tribune or KOP Mentor Network's Facebook pages. This segment is brought to you by the generous donation of Healthier Delray Beach, Blanc New Looks Barbershop, DNA Total Fitness, Ezra Krieg, Marsha Eisenberg, and Doug Young. Thanks to our sponsors, we're able to bring you community conversation each week. As you interact with your friends and neighbors, please tell them to like our sponsors on Facebook and follow them on Instagram. We thank them for caring about our youth.
Dina Bazoo, a graduating senior at Atlantic High School, as well as the Milagro Center in Delray Beach. Mr. Darrell Don Lemon Creary is also a graduating senior at Atlantic Community High School, and he's serving as our co-host. In fact, he's in the big chair tonight. I happen to be standing here, so what does that say? Anyway, our illustrious cinematographer is Neil Sunsky, Neil Noel, and he is a proud network as well as Village Academy. Mr. Ezekiel Hobbs is a recent graduate of Florida A&M, and he's an aspiring entrepreneur, meaning he is available to work for you people. He just graduated this past Saturday, actually, and he is good. This young man is good. He's serving as our public relations intern, and he is responsible for all our increased presence on our social media pages. Anyway, see Mr. John over there chomping at the bit. Mr. John, what's going on? Unmute him for me. Mr. John. All right. We're having challenges getting Mr. John on. So bad. Anyway, let's roll, Daryl.
All right. For the past several months, Santa Claus and his elves has been busy making sure that good boys and girls are taken care of this Christmas. But all around our communities, there are a special group of angels, unsung heroes, if you might say, who are working oftentimes under the cloak of silence to make sure the needs of those who are less fortunate among us are met. Now, this could be food, clothing, or other needs. Tonight, we have a few of those holiday angels with us to share their stories. Our first angel spends his Saturdays making sure the homeless in Broward County are fed and nurtured in the Word. Pastor Ruben Luma of Manna Belford Outreach, Inc. says that he's commissioned to do God's work. Pastor, thank you for being with us tonight. Let's have you in.
There is.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
How are you?
Great to have you. Okay, so how did you come up with the name Banner Benevolent Outreach? And how did you begin? When? What was your little background for that?
Well, the manna is the food descent from the sky when the Hebrew people in the desert. The only difference is my manna have only one end because it's a Spanish figure,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same manna. It's the food, the bread came from the heaven when people must need it, you know. It's a promise of God. Jehovah sent manna to the Hebrew people in the desert when they get out of the Egypt. Uh, well, we become benevolent, mean it's a Latin word to say give it away. I mean, be available for the most needed people, and probably that's it. You know, that's what we doing. You know, provide food for the most needed people. Um, that's the name came from, pretty much.
And what was your little back? When did you begin this entire foundation?
We began 1997. We serve in the. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Ellens, my brother in Christ. Thank you for this opportunity. We began in 1997. Uh, that remind me that a pastor, Leonidas, is a pastor feeding or helping the community, and I told him I want to do something for the Lord. I want to do something for the community. And he said, "Okay, uh, collect all your money you have in your piggy bank and come with me, and we're gonna get some food." And we started giving grocery to the most needed people in our congregation
Mm-hmm.
from money from my pockets, and I'm so happy with, you know. And we start from there, you know.
Wow, was the process ever overwhelming for you?
Oh, that's the amazing thing. He's with the Lord up there, you know. Uh, but uh, it's something we already make 23 years in a couple more days. We make 23 years working for the community.
Mm. So, Pastor, how challenging has it been this year for your ministry during the pandemic now?
Well, it's a big challenge like everybody else, you know. Uh, we had to be careful. We had to keep a distance. We had to do things by law, you know. It's whatever the Broward County, in this case, we are in Pompano Beach, uh, they want us to do, keep obey everything related with the pandemic. Uh, we stopped this year for a couple months, but we returned to feeding the homeless, and we keep a distance. You know, keep our, you know, like I say, obedient and all rules we have all around the country. But it's a challenger. It's a challenger because it's a lot of needed people in the community, and basically that's what we're doing lately. Feed the homeless and Pompano Beach.
Hmm. All right, Pastor. Someone listening may be inclined to bless your ministry. How can they reach you?
Uh, well, with like I say, you know, we also not only feed the homeless, we try to uh, get people for Christ. You know, that's the main thing with the Christianity. We want to pray for them. We want to cover the most necessary possible they have, and we'll be pleased for that. Me and my wife, my crew, uh, brother Ellens is a big part in our job once in a while, and we're happy about it. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right. Is there any social media pages that you guys have that you use, or a phone number that we or guests could call?
Well, you can. We have a website.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the manabenevolence.org, and you find everything you had to know related with the ministry. We make a video recording everything we do every week. You go to YouTube looking for Ruben Lima, RUBENLIMA, as my name, or manabenevolent.org. And,
All right.
and you're going to see everything about it. Very excited program we have there.
All right. Thank you so much, Pastor, for being here tonight. Que Dios le bendiga siempre. All right. Have a good evening.
Gracias. Dios lo bendiga too.
And thank you for all the things that you do.
Thank you. Thank you. The name is Geraldine. And Darren.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
God bless you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Dina.
All right. Debbie Fox, Katz, lights up when she speaks about filling the request for toys each Christmas. Her organization, Community Friends Incorporated, tries to brighten children's lives by providing gifts at Christmas times. Unfortunately, Miss Katz couldn't be here with us tonight, but we would like to thank her for everything that she does in the light of the Christmas spirit. And now we're going to have Mr. James, who is no stranger to saving lives, literally.
Definitely not. Great to have you here. So,
Actually,
sir, before we get into an intro for getting a question for Mr. James, getting into his background, he served nearly 17 years in parish ministry, and he transitioned to the nonprofit world, serving as Director of Development for The Haven, a foster home for boys in Boca Raton. He has held key leadership positions in other nonprofits in Palm Beach County, including CEO of Junior Achievement in Palm Beaches, and is the world's only mobile biz town was created on his watch. So, Mr. G, great to have you here again. You save souls for the kingdom. You save kids by providing education opportunities at JA. You save several people by feeding the hungry. And these days, you're still saving our schools through the Education Foundation. I think it is safe to say that you are in the saving business. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity to share, and a Merry Christmas to your audience. It's been illuminating listening to the show tonight.
Thank you, sir. Tell me the story of the Education Foundation of Palm Beach County. How and when did it begin?
It's really a fairly simple but a powerful story. In 1984, believe it or not, the business community stepped up. The Economic Council of Palm Beach County felt that there needed to be a foundation to support the work of the Palm Beach County School District. And so the Education Foundation was born, as I said, born from the Economic Council. Now, if you or your listeners are residents of Palm Beach County, these names are legendary. People like George Elmore, a gentleman by the name of William T. Dwyer, as in Dwyer High School and the Dwyer Awards. Mr. Dwyer was actually the CEO of the Economic Council, or the chairman of the board of the Economic Council in '84. Alexander Dreyfus. These people are legendary in their commitment of business and education. And so the Ed Foundation is there to be that bridge between the business community and the world of education. And by the way, how about a love for my Arsenal Gunners? I'm wearing my ugly Arsenal Christmas sweater. I was going to wear my Boca Raton soccer sweater, but they don't have an ugly Christmas sweater yet. So what people don't realize is that the school district of Palm Beach County is the nation's 10th largest school district. There are 180,000 children in our public schools right here, in about 179 schools in Palm Beach County. The size of this is just massive. Side notes, every day in Palm Beach County, the largest restaurant is the school district. The largest transportation company is the school district. The largest construction company is the school district. And the second largest police department is the school district. So it's a massive operation. Our job at the foundation is to raise money from the corporate world and support some incredibly creative teachers. We do basically two things. We award grants to incredibly creative teachers to further their work, and then we operate something called the Red Apple Supply Store, and I'll get there in a second. I just want to tell you, Daryl and Geraldina, about a couple of grants that we do. For about 3 years, we've been funding a robotics program out at Pahokee Middle School. Now, when you go out to the Glades in Pahokee and talk to the young people there, what's the one out that they see? In fact, what's the only out that they see? Football. The only avenue that they see to get them out of poverty is football. We're out there telling them, no, your out is right here. Become a scientist, become an engineer, become a TV producer, become a journalist, become a computer programmer. 3 years into our robotics program, we've got 50 kids at Pahokee Middle and Pahokee High School who are looking at careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So those are the kind of things that we fund. We tend to focus on literacy and STEM programs, college and career readiness. One of the programs we fund with a grant from JP Morgan Chase is a firefighter academy at Palm Beach Lakes High School. With a grant from the Frederick DeLuca Foundation, we're funding a cybersecurity program at Santa Lucia's High School. And with yet another grant from Carrier Corporation, we're funding an HVAC program up at Royal Palm Beach High School. So these are careers that young people can graduate high school and the next day go out and have a career. They don't need to go to college. One of the things I love about our current superintendent, Dr. Donald Fenoy, who's just an amazing leader, Dr. Fenoy is very direct when he says, I was a certified auto mechanic before I became a teacher. So Dr. Fenoy is very committed to these career academies. So that's part of what we do. The other part of what we do is called the Red Apple Supplies. Ladies and gentlemen, the sad fact is in America today, the average teacher spends about $500 a year out of their own pocket buying school supplies for their students. And I'm sorry, I consider this a national travesty. This is a national disgrace that we take our teachers, our public school teachers, who are already underpaid and overworked, and we ask them to dip into their own pockets to buy pencils and pens and paper and notebooks for their students who can't afford them. Now, people will often say, well, who can't afford these things in Palm Beach County? As you alluded to and you introduced me very graciously, I might add, for 7 years, I ran Boca Helping Hands, a great organization right here in Boca Raton. I know the level of poverty that's in Boca and Palm Beach County. The census revealed that 1 out of 5 children live below the poverty level in Palm Beach County. In a school district the size of Palm Beach, that's 40,000 kids. Just wrap your head around that number. There are 40,000 children in our public schools who are living below the poverty level. They can't afford pencils and pens and notebooks and paper. And so Red Apple Supplies works with these schools to distribute. We distributed last year about $750,000 of school supplies. Again, so you understand the bridge between business and education. You can well imagine, especially down here in Boca Raton, our biggest supporter is Office Depot. We could not ask for a better partner than Office Depot, who last year donated something like 10 truckloads of school supplies to Red Apple for us to distribute out to the teachers. I'm going to keep going unless you jump into the question, so you better stop me at some point.
Well,
yes, Dina.
I'm sorry. Well, along that same line, your foundation, therefore, you rely heavily on public dollars and donations to operate, like you mentioned, Office Depot. How challenging has it been raising money this year, considering this pandemic?
The challenge really is starting right now. That's a great question. When the pandemic hit, we shifted. We made a pivot to really focus on getting supplies to kids at home. And people say, what's that all about? I had one of the regional superintendents call me up early on, and I won't tell you what district she's in, but she did say to me, I've got a high school child in one of my schools, and they're doing their schoolwork at home with a red crayon because that's all they have. They don't have a pencil or a pen. So we started something called Kits for Kids, where we were packing up school supplies and we were working with the school district feeding sites And when the kids would come to one side of the parking lot to get their meals for the week, then they'd come to us and we'd give them school supplies. And people like the Jim Moran Foundation, the Frederick DeLuca Foundation, right here locally, the Boca Rio Foundation, all stepped up and said, we want to support Kits for Kids. The Ventus Charitable Foundation. These business partners said to us, we want to make sure that every kid has what they need. Again, locally, the Boca West Community Foundation stepped up and said, we're going to give you a grant to further Kits for Kids. The second part of what we've been doing since the pandemic, again, these numbers are just, they just don't compute. There are 25,000 children in Palm Beach County who can't access the internet. Now, how are they supposed to do their lessons?
Especially now with
remote learning. So we have spearheaded a campaign. There's a collaborative effort that has come together. Palm Beach County has committed $20 million for the infrastructure to put in the poles and the fiber optic cables. The school district committed $45 million to purchase Chromebooks for every child in the district who needs one. We come in and we have raised almost $1 million to provide Wi-Fi extenders. What these poles and fiber optic cables are doing are putting a mesh network over neighborhoods with a Wi-Fi extender. That family can now pull down the internet and the children can do their lessons. The parents can apply for jobs. You can do telemedicine. The whole world opens up when you can access the internet. So it's really about bringing equity of opportunity and equity of access to the internet to all of Palm Beach County. So this kind of in 7 minutes or less, I think, is really the work of the Education Foundation. We have an amazing team of very dedicated people. And as I keep coming back to, our principal function is to go out to the business community and unite them to the world of public education. And our business community here could not be more supportive.
And definitely.
Sorry, Gina. I'm sorry, sir. It's been itching me to just say something, but I can't keep it any longer. When you brought up the Red Apple supplies, it just sparked something in me because actually at Atlantic High, the current National Honor Society team is trying to organize a scholastic board with the Education Foundation through that. Mm-hmm. And we've realized the issue that the pandemic has caused where children are not in direct access to the supplies that were provided at school. So if we could have like a route to contact for other viewers as well, we'd love that to see if we can help support you and your movements that you've brought.
Well, and I will share with you, Daryl. Of course, we love all of our 179 schools the same. We don't have any favorites, but we love Atlantic High. I'm going to tell you why. Our accountant at the Education Foundation started out as a public school teacher. Guess where? At Atlantic High. He was your football and wrestling coach, a gentleman named Sam Pasley. Sam left the world of education, became an accountant, and he now works for me at the Ed Foundation. So, hey, let's shout it out to Atlantic High. Simple way to contact us, educationfoundationpbc.org. Perfect. PBC as in Palm Beach County. educationfoundationpbc.org. That's our website. It'll tell you all you need to know about Red Apple supplies. It will tell you, if you're a teacher, how to apply for a grant and really give you a good overview of the work we do.
All right. Thank you so much for having being here with us, sir. And it was great to have your insight and to...
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, C. Ron. You're one of the heroes in this community. All I can say as we all celebrate Christmas this year, we think about peace on earth as the father of a military person who has spent the last 5 Christmases overseas. I think only those people who have fought for it really understand freedom and peace on earth and goodwill towards men. Let's pray for everyone tonight. Let's pray for our first responders here and all of our military people overseas. Wherever you are tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the prayers of this community are with you. Thank you for what you do. This is a great show and great for our community.
Thank you,
Merry
sir.
Christmas to all. And to all a good night.
Thank you for having. All right. Have a good night, sir. All right. Going off of the spirit and gift of giving that we've had tonight, that gracious theme, that will about do it for this week's edition of Community Conversation. We hope you learned something tonight that will make a significant impact on your life this year. Young people, there is no greater investment you can make on a Friday night than being with like-minded peeps on Community Conversation. Thank you to all of our guests for participating to enlightening us And a big sincere shout out to the Boca Raton Tribune for simulcasting us on Facebook and YouTube. A special thanks to our sponsors, Healthier Delray Beach, Blanc New Look Barbershop, DNA Total Fitness, Jeff Stern CPA, Wellness Financial, Roots and Wings, Isra Krieg, Marsha Eisenberg, and Doug Young. As we wrap up tonight's session, we leave you with this message.
A mask can say a lot about the person who wears it. But even more about the person who doesn't.
You know, Daryl, before you go, I'm gonna close by saying this, and I'll explain to you later on. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are. That's it.
I'll do my investigations on that little quote of yours, sir.
Ponder that one, Dina. You ponder that and do your research.
All right. Happy holidays, everyone. Be safe and have a wonderful weekend. And let's stay together as a nation. Thank you for tuning in.
And thank you. Stay safe. That's your priority.